just terse. And that is exactly what we are tackling in today's deep dive. We have two stacks of sources today that honestly seem like they belong on completely different planets.
They really do.
First, we have this collection of sun-drenched travel itineraries for Nice, France. We've got guides to their quirky maritime festivals, self-guided walking tours through ancient ruins, and yes, even something called the Nice Party Life pub crawl.
The essential tourist experience.
Exactly. And then second, we have a dense, highly academic book of abstracts from the 32nd International Seminar on Urban Form.
That's ISUF 2025.
Right, held in Turin, Italy.
Yeah.
And the entire theme of this massive conference is urban morphology in the age of artificial intelligence.
Which is fascinating because it forces us to ask a really fundamental question, you know?
Yep.
How does the spontaneous, completely unpredictable experience of a tourist in a French coastal town connect to this deep, machine learning-driven science that mathematically analyzes human settlements?
And that's our mission today, to bridge that gap. We're going to explore how the math and the map actually dictate the magic of your vacation.
I love that framing.
But really quickly, before we jump in, just a quick constraint check for you, the listener. Our focus today is strictly on the cultural, the scientific, and the structural data within these sources.
Right. Absolutely no politics today.
None. We are looking at how cities are built and analyzed, not who is running them. So politics is entirely off the table.
Which honestly serves this topic perfectly. I mean, the underlying geometry of a city outlasts any single administration anyway.
Very true. So let's start on the ground in Nice, walking in the shoes of a tourist. The sources we have map out these incredibly vivid sensory experiences.
Like waking up and trying to decide what to do with your day.
Right. You're deciding, like, do I do the Marc Chagall Museum today or the Matisse Museum?
Both great choices, by the way.
Obviously. Or maybe you wander down to the port and just stumble into one of their local maritime festivals.
The guides really emphasize those, right? As these beloved, quirky local traditions.
They do. They say it captures the true Niçois spirit. And the thing is, as a tourist, you're making decisions based entirely on what feels right in the moment.
You're just reacting to the immediate environment. You know, a smell from a bakery, or the sound of a crowd, or just the visual draw of an open square.
Totally. And the travel guides detail these specific zigway self-guided walks that really lean into this.
Oh, yeah, the Castle Hill one.
Yes, the Castle Hill Panoramic Ascent. It's a 2.5-hour walk with, like, 6 stops.
Sounds intense.
A bit. You're actively climbing, discovering hidden ruins, and then you feel this sudden drop in temperature when you walk past a cooling waterfall.
That sounds amazing.
And it culminates in this massive sweeping view of the Mediterranean. But then you contrast that with another tour they offer, which is the hidden alleys of Old Nice.
Which is a totally different vibe.
Completely. It's an hour and 45 minutes entirely inside the medieval heart of the city. You're navigating these tiny, shaded corridors that just suddenly open up into vibrant squares lined with Baroque palaces.
See, what the travel guide is doing there without using any of the academic terminology is they're curating the physical form of the city.
Right.
They're guaranteeing a very specific emotional payoff for the visitor.
And that emotional payoff, it radically shifts when the sun goes down. Because the sources heavily feature this Nice Party Life pub crawl.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it promises negotiated drink prices, free shooters, nightclub entry, and all these games designed to force interactions with, global travelers.
It's engineered chaos.
It really is. And it struck me, reading through this, that experiencing a city this way feels a lot like being a single blood cell traveling through the veins of a massive living organism.
That is a great analogy.
You're completely enveloped by it. You don't see the skeleton. You have absolutely no idea what the larger blueprint of the body looks like. You just feel the pulse.
Because that is a highly subjective, highly localized experience. But, for a city to actually function, someone has to understand the skeleton.
Right.
Someone has to be able to see the blueprint.
But how do planners even begin to do that?
Yeah.
Like, how do you look at a chaotic, centuries-old maze of hidden alleys and pubs and make any kind of scientific sense of it?
Well, they rely on a field called urban morphology.
Okay.
And if we look at the second stack of sources from the ISUF 2025 conference in Turin, this is the foundational science they're discussing.
So what is morphology exactly?
In the absolute simplest terms, morphology is the study of form. So urban morphology is the study of the physical form of cities.
Okay, the physical layout.
Right, but it's also about how those physical forms evolve over long periods of time.
Wait, so urban morphology isn't just like modern zoning laws or building codes.
No, not at all.
It's literally treating the city like an archaeological dig or a fossil record where every street corner tells a story of human history.
That's exactly it. Let's use the metaphor of tree rings.
Oh, I like that.
When you cut down a very old tree, you can read its history in the rings, right?
Yeah, like a thick ring means a year of good rain.
Exactly. And a thin, scarred ring might mean a year of drought or maybe a forest fire. Urban morphology basically treats human settlements the exact same way.
So the innermost ring would be, what, the oldest part?
Right. It might be a medieval center with narrow, chaotic alleys, just like Old Nice.
Got it.
And then the next ring outward might be a highly structured 19th century grid of wide boulevards.
And the researchers are trying to read those rings to understand what happened to the people who built them.
Precisely. They're mapping out how different scales of a city relate to human life. Like, how does a single traditional courtyard house relate to the block it sits on?
Right.
And how does that block relate to the wider street network? And how does that network form the entire region?
You know, the sources from the ISUF conference provide this perfect physical embodiment of this concept in their choice of venue.
The Valentino Castle.
Yes. They held the seminar at the Valentino Castle in Turin. And you look at the history of this one building provided in the abstracts, it's wild.
The castle itself is a morphological case study.
It truly is. I mean, hundreds of years ago, it was this riverside residence used for the lavish parties of Madame Royale.
Right.
Then decades pass, the culture shifts, and one of the side gardens is converted into the university's botanical gardens.
Evolving with the needs of the time.
Exactly. And then jump ahead to the 19th century, and the space is radically altered once again to host the 1858 exposition, which was spearheaded by Prime Minister Camilo Cavour.
See, the structure didn't just stay frozen in amber.
Oh.
It adapted to the changing needs, the technologies, and the social structures of the people occupying it. Urban morphology is what tracks that layering of history.
But the sources also mention that this field has historically been this incredibly human-driven, like boots-on-the-ground science.
Oh, absolutely. The conference features major tributes to pioneers in the field, like Inverness Moudon, who passed away just recently in 2025.
Right, and the legacy of Jeremy Whitehand.
Yes. These were researchers who essentially built the modern framework of the science through really painstaking human observation.
What does that look like in practice?
They would literally walk the streets with clipboards and maps.
Wow, just manually mapping it out.
Yeah, they would manually trace the historical fabric of a neighborhood. They had to develop the vocabulary to even describe these phenomena. For instance, you'll see the term fringe belts heavily featured in the Whitehand legacy papers.
Fringe belts, let's break that down for the listener because it honestly pops up constantly in these abstracts.
Sure. Think back to our tree ring metaphor. A fringe belt is essentially the bark of the tree at a specific moment in time.
Okay, the outer edge.
Right. It's the outer edge of a city where you might find defensive walls or large industrial plots or cemeteries. But as the city grows and expands outward, that outer edge gets swallowed up.
It becomes an internal ring. So it's a zone inside the modern city that still carries the strange, often disjointed architectural DNA of when it used to be the city limit.